This is our new quad camera system. We found out after we ordered the cameras that it doesn't have sound, and it's supposed to broadcast over the internet, but we don't have that figured out yet. So, um, but you can see 4 cameras. We have that part working thanks to some help from a few people. We don't have it figured out how to do the menu and a lot of other things. So as soon as we do, maybe we'll be able to start broadcasting on the internet. It's the 4th of July, and there was a full moon, I think, last night. It's hard for me to tell from one night to the next. Is that full or is it only partly full? But if it wasn't a full moon last night, it will be tonight. And as usual, 4th of July is kind of dead at Hill House Manor. I don't like to have it open on holidays. My own personal preference. Anyway, this is about stories about Hill House Manor, and there aren't a lot of stories for the 4th of July because we don't have it open on the 4th of July. And I'm over here in broad daylight again. It's much easier trying to shoot in daylight, and I don't like to be here alone at night. And I'm here by myself right now. So, stories. We've had some interesting groups out lately. We had that birthday party for the 15-year-old, which they learned how to use the dowsing rods, and they all seemed to be having a pretty good time. There were some skeptics that didn't seem so skeptical when they left. They had a couple of people were touched, and a couple of them were able to use the dowsing rods. I was pretty impressed. And then a couple of them couldn't get them to work at all. And then the team we had the next day came in from Oklahoma, and they told me they'd had some activity and they'd caught some pictures, but we'll see. One of the faces that was sent to me, I think on email, but it might have been on Facebook. Yeah, they might have posted it on Hill House Manor Facebook. Anyway, you can see a face, yes, but it's like seeing a dog in the clouds. It's kind of, yes, I can make that a face, but I don't think it really is a face. I've got a story that I haven't told before on here. I think I haven't told it before, but this happens a lot more than you hear about. We had a meetup group that the girl who was in charge of it talked to me for a couple of weeks before the meetup. And she was very organized and efficient. And she had her meetup group ready to go, and she was talking to me on the way here. We were on the phone talking, and just about, you know, who would be arriving when and what time I would conduct the tour and what they could and couldn't do. And she got here, and a lot of her people were already here. They were waiting outside. And so once everybody was here, we got them all together and brought them inside. And the minute she walked through the doors, it was like she had had a fifth of scotch or something. She was just more than buzzed. She was incoherent, and she seemed to be drunk. And I'd just been talking to her outside. We took her back outside, and she was okay. We brought her back inside, and she was incoherent again. So I ended up having to conduct the meetup group. Now, this has been several years ago, but it has happened to a couple of other people, and they have come back to see, because they didn't really get to experience the house. And when they came back, the same thing happened. Now, they hadn't been drinking, they hadn't taken any drugs. This is just, this house has that effect on some people. It's never affected me that way. There have been times when it's given me a headache or a stomach ache or something like that. Like maybe I was empathizing with whatever being was here and what they had suffered when they died. And a lot of people get that too. They'll come in and get a horrible headache or the feeling that they've been poisoned. And the theory is that they're empathic one who died and is still carrying those feelings around with them. Anyway, I thought that was an interesting story. It's one of my fond memories. And happy 4th of July, and I'll have another story in a few days.